This July, Womanica has teamed up with Nike to tell the stories of elite athletes from history to today. We're celebrating the women who performed physical and mental feats in sports. We're talking about athletes. For stories of women who overcame societal barriers, personal struggles, and fierce competition to pursue their dreams of glory. Listen to Womanica all month long, wherever you get your podcasts. Hello. From Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month, we're celebrating women who performed physical and mental feats in sports. They overcame societal barriers, personal struggles, and fierce competition to pursue their dreams of glory. We're talking about athletes. In 2017, under the lights of the London Stadium, a sprinter wearing a red, white, and blue headscarf crouched at the starting block. Her name was Tori Bowie, and she was preparing to race in the women's 100-meter final. The stakes were sky high. Whoever won this race would become known as the fastest woman in the world. The starting pistol fired, and Tori launched herself forward. She became a blur of arms and legs. On her left, a competitor from the Ivory Coast inched forward. The finish line drew closer, and in an attempt to close the gap, Tori pushed her head forward, catapulting herself over the finish line and falling to the ground. But was that last push enough to clinch the victory? It was hard to tell just by watching in the stands. For a moment, the world was left to wonder. Who had won the race? Had Tori Bowie managed to become the fastest woman in the world? Years before that race in London, Tori was a young girl growing up in Mississippi. When Tori was just a toddler, her mother turned Tori and Tori's sister over to the foster care system. Eventually, Tori and her sister began living with their grandmother. The town Tori was raised in, Sand Hill, was so small it wasn't even counted in the U.S. Census. There wasn't even a stoplight. But Tori and her friends found ways to make their own fun. They would compete in races, stacking tires on top of each other, then hurdling over them. Tori caught the competitive spirit early. By the time she was in middle school, she was playing varsity basketball with high schoolers. Tori's high school was small, about 40 kids in total. Because of the school's size, Tori's basketball coach told her she had to compete in track and field if she wanted to keep playing basketball. At first, she hated the idea. She didn't like the short shorts that runners had to wear in competition. But eventually, she came around. And it's a good thing she did. By the end of her high school career, she had become a track state champion many times over. Tori kept competing in track and field when she went to college, even earning the title of Conference Female Athlete of the Year. After graduating, Tori decided to go pro and dedicated her focus to sprinting events. She was known for her relentless work ethic and for the colorful headscarves she would wear during competition. All of her hard work paid off in 2016 at the Rio Olympics. There, she won a bronze medal in the 200 meters, a silver in the 100 meters, and a gold in the 4x100 meter relay. The next year, she traveled to London for the World Championships, where she catapulted herself headfirst over the finish line and into the ground. Just a few moments after the race ended, the results were in. By pushing her head over the finish line, Tori had finished first. With a time of 10.85 seconds, Tori had won by 1/100th of a second. Even so, she wasn't satisfied. Right after the race, she told her agent she needed to find a new coach. According to her, the race was too close. Regardless, Tori was still the fastest woman in the world. And with that title came new opportunities. She started modeling for luxury brands like Valentino. She traveled back to her hometown and threw parties for foster kids, giving back to the community she came from. With success also came challenges. In 2018, Tori tore her quad muscle and had to drop out of multiple meets. Tori didn't just withdraw from competition. Former competitors and coaches stopped being able to get in touch with her. Tori's community shrank, and she struggled with her mental health. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and anxiety. Then Tori got pregnant. Like many Black women in America, Tori didn't trust doctors, who often don't listen to Black women or care for them properly. She went through her pregnancy mostly alone. In 2023, Tori died in her home from complications from childbirth. An autopsy revealed Tori had eclampsia, a high blood pressure disorder without a known cause that disproportionately affects Black Americans. Tori's story is part of a larger pattern. Black women in America are much more likely to die from complications from childbirth than any other group of women. Many Black female athletes have talked about their own excruciating experiences giving birth, like Serena Williams and Allison Felix. After Tori's death, Allison Felix, who was part of the team that earned Tori her Olympic gold, spoke out about the heightened risks Black women face during pregnancy. Today, Allison continues to advocate for Black women to receive adequate care, the kind of care that could have saved Tori's life. Today, Tori's legacy lives on. At the borderline of Sand Hill stands a sign that reads, "Welcome to the community of Sand Hill, home of Olympic gold medalist Tori Bowie." All month, we're talking about athletes. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Talk to you tomorrow. This July, Womanica has teamed up with Nike to tell the stories of elite athletes from history to today. We're celebrating the women who performed physical and mental feats in sports. We're talking about athletes. For stories of women who overcame societal barriers, personal struggles, and fierce competition to pursue their dreams of glory, listen to Womanica all month long, wherever you get your podcasts.
In 2009, Mitrice Richardson was released from the Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff's Station, and she never made it home. Nearly a year later, Mitrice's remains were found in a canyon 6 miles from the station. Her death is Malibu's greatest unsolved mystery. I'm Dana Goodyear. In Lost Hills, Dark Canyon, what happened to Mitrice Richardson? Listen on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I'm Jordan Gonsalves, and I'm a journalist. Join me on my new podcast, But We Loved, where queer elders recount the amazing history they've lived through.
In the middle of Wall Street, they stopped traffic. They were doing a die-in.
And in the process, share little gems of wisdom for the next generation.
The key is to understanding yourself, learning to love and embrace yourself.
You can listen to But We Loved on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
For 10 years, I've been obsessed with one of the most bizarre and audacious cons in rock and roll history.
We were all facing 20 years and all that good stuff.
The lead singer tried to pull off an English accent, and they went on the road as the Zombies.
These guys are not going to get away with it. The Zombies are too popular.
Listen to the true story of the fake zombies on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.